Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis.
And I'm Haley Wilgus. We are getting some severe weather warnings in our area.
Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan for the latest. Bob.
Yeah, as we just told you about 5 minutes ago, a severe thunderstorm warning has been issued by the National Weather Service. It's in effect until 6:15 for the area that you see right here in this yellow area, and that includes Northport, Port Charlotte, Punta Gorda. The heaviest rain right now and lightning occurring in Port Charlotte and Punta Gorda, but that will be spreading westward through time. Get a look at this cell. It just kind of exploded here very quickly with a tremendous amount of lightning occurring and the possibility and the potential for winds up to 50 to 60 miles an hour, especially down the road as this pushes off to the west. Right now, we are anticipating Inglewood to get some of this, as well as more of Northport as it moves off to the west. But by far the strongest cell, or at least part of it, is right there over Punta Gorda. There's not a lot of shear showing up at this point, so I think it will change, though, as far as the radial velocity goes. Right here is where we think the strongest winds are located at this juncture near US 41, just to the west of Port Charlotte, heading toward El Jobin. Get ready. There's a good potential to see some very gusty winds with this, especially as the storm moves in time, because the strong winds are in the upper levels of this storm right now at about 50,000 feet. Winds being reported at about 150 miles an hour. That's way up there at 150,000 feet. I should say at 50,000 feet, but very strong winds being felt at that level. And there is some potential for some small hail with this system as it marches off toward the west. Again, the severe storm pushing off to the northwest at around 15 miles an hour. I'd say a little less than that right now, though. It's being held up by that sea breeze front. And you can see it quite clearly moving off very slowly to the west at this point, with the heaviest wind right there. A severe thunderstorm warning in effect now for parts of Sarasota and western Charlotte County until 6:15. We'll have much more coming up in a few minutes. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Bob. Shockwaves sent through the global economy today after a truly unprecedented vote in the United Kingdom.
By a 52 to 48% margin, voters across the pond choosing to exit the European Union. In response, markets across Europe took a dive, and British Prime Minister David Cameron said he'll resign before October. He had led the campaign to keep Britain in the EU. President Obama, who also favored the UK to stay, spoke with Cameron after the vote.
While the UK's relationship with the EU will change, one thing that will not change is the special relationship that exists between our two nations. That will endure.
Britain will have to negotiate the terms of the divorce from the European Union, while the EU is wasting little time moving forward. An informal meeting is set for Wednesday between the remaining 27 member states.
Here at home, stocks fell sharply as investors worry about the economic consequences of the vote. The Dow Jones closed today down more than 600 points, the NASDAQ more than 200. The S&P 500 fell 75 points, or 3.6%.
And as you just saw, while the transition out of the European Union is expected to take years, the impact on the financial sector began overnight.
And that impact is already being felt in the United States and on the Suncoast. ABC 7's Bobeth Yates joins us with more. Bobeth.
Well, first, as you mentioned, it was the unprecedented vote, then the simultaneous celebration and disappointments, and now the aftermath.
It's really sad. I'm heartbroken.
UK native Louise Kennedy Converse owns Artisan Cheese Company in downtown Sarasota. And while she's lived in the area for years, she's very much concerned with the vote for Britain to leave the European Union.
It's my country. I was born there. I'm half English, half Scottish, and I've always been part of Great Britain, United Kingdom. It's no longer united, and that for me is kind of sad.
Converse says many of her family and friends were against the UK leaving the EU, and that the vote divided the country. But those in favor of leaving tell a different story.
People want to govern their own country, and also the EU's, it's great, but there's so many different cultures and diversities and so much history. You can't just put everybody in one category and then govern it with one set of rules. I think people just want to take back Great Britain.
Pardip Bram is among the voters who cast an absentee ballot in favor of leaving the EU.
In theory, it was a great idea to have a united Europe, you know, everybody coming off the same page. But there's so many things happening in Europe right now. I think Britain is best off being, a standalone country.
The decision has left the financial market in turmoil, with the value of the pound plummeting. There was also extreme volatility in global markets. Despite the uncertainty, local financial analyst Bruce Biddles says investors should not panic.
It'll add some uncertainty very near term, but I think it would be short-lived, and by that I mean just a few days maybe. before the markets would stabilize.
And he believes U.S. could benefit.
It might also bring in a lot of foreign investors into the U.S. that see the uncertainty in Europe as being problematic, and they would rather direct their money to the U.S.
Converse, meanwhile, is among those who worry the vote spells serious trouble for her homeland.
I'm more concerned about how that impacts all of my family and friends at home. I just, so shocked. I think it's the end of the UK as we know it.
Now, while the vote for Britain to leave the European Union is already having major impacts on the financial sector, many analysts say you should not panic and you should continue the course of your financial plan. Back to you.
Thank you, Beth. Governor Rick Scott, wife Ann Scott, and the Florida cabinet honoring the victims of the Pulse nightclub massacre. Scott, along with Attorney General Pam Bondi, Agriculture Commissioner Adam Putnam, and Chief Financial Officer Jeff Atwater, put yellow roses in front of 49 Florida flags lining the front lawn of the state capitol. One for each of the clubgoers who died in the worst mass shooting in modern U.S. history. The flags were accompanied by photographs of each person who was killed. These flags will remain up for 49 days. The search continues for the Sarasota family missing at sea. By the end of the day, the U.S. Coast Guard says it will have searched more than 27,000 nautical miles. Ace Kimberly and his 3 teenage children left Sarasota Bay on Sunday for Fort Myers to repair their sailboat. Kimberly called his brother and said there were 6-foot seas and they were attempting to survive off the coast of Inglewood. They never arrived, and the brother reported them missing on Tuesday. Search crews have recovered 2 bodies so far, but they have not been identified.
Police arrest a Sarasota man today on child porn charges. 59-year-old John Pyle is charged with 15 counts of possession of child porn. Sarasota police say they searched his apartment after receiving 3 separate cyber tips from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. The case remains under investigation. Now, Pyle is known in the community for carrying an American flag during running events. Years ago, he ran solo across the country and would run annually through downtown Sarasota on 9/11 to honor our nation's fallen. The House Ethics Committee ends a 4-year probe into Suncoast Congressman Vern Buchanan, finding no evidence he violated House rules. The ethics panel says there's not enough evidence to conclude that Buchanan himself was aware of unlawful payments made by companies affiliated with Buchanan to reimburse campaign contributors. The probe stemmed from allegations made by a former business partner of the Republican, allegations that Buchanan has denied. Still, the committee is cautioning him to, quote, exercise more diligence over affairs related to his campaign. A Suncoast city enjoying 2 separate accolades today.
Straight ahead, what the city of Venice is being recognized for.
Hurricane season is here. Are you prepared? ABC7 has the information you need. Access our special Surviving a Hurricane now. Learn how to prepare a readiness plan and survival kit. Know your evacuation route. Be prepared, Suncoast, when severe weather threatens. Access our special on our ABC7 app and all our live streaming platforms.
Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV.
If you have a suspicion for harboring prostate cancer, we have a way of diagnosing by using an exquisite instrument called 3-dimensional color flow power Doppler ultrasound. Using this system, we can identify abnormalities within the prostate that you could otherwise never detect. The Dottoli Cancer Center is the only center in the southeastern United States which has this technology. If you have prostate cancer, we will find it.
You know what scares me? No electricity. Yeah, when this magical box suddenly stops working, I call the pros at Mr. Sparky and they send a superhero to save the day. How's it going, Pablo?
It's going great, Mike.
Pablo possesses amazing skill. He can perform incredible feats at blinding speed. Superhero!
Couldn't have done it without you.
Modest, too.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Just to be clear, I don't live here.
Batteries Plus bulbs keep stacks of batteries for cars, cell phones, watches, plus light bulbs for lamps, can lights, and appliances right on hand. Did I mention we also repair smartphones? Batteries Plus bulbs. Trust the plus. Visit Batteries Plus bulbs today.
Whether you're a homeowner looking for a professional installation or a contractor looking for top quality products, Sarasota Glass and Mirror can meet your every need.
For 42 years, Sarasota Glass and Mirror has been the area's premier supplier and installer of quality glass products for your home or business. As an authorized PGT WindGuard dealer, we know how to protect your home with everything from the PGT WindGuard impact-resistant windows and doors to shower enclosures and decorative mirrors. The Sarasota Glass and Mirror team has the knowledge to tackle any project.
Hey, I'm really glad that you're taking a few moments to check out this video about the ministry of First Sarasota Downtown Baptist Church. I'm William Hill, lead pastor here at First Sarasota. For the last 15 years, it's been my privilege to share in the life of this faith community, a community that centers itself around faith, friends, and family. Indeed, it is a ministry that's been in existence right here in this wonderful city for over a century.
City of Venice pretty popular online this week.
It made it on 2 lists and as one of the safest cities in Florida and one of the most affordable. ABC 7's Christopher Brantley is joining us now live from Venice with more. Christopher.
Oh, good evening, Scott and Haley. With very little crime in the area, Venice has been labeled one of the safest cities to live in. Not surprisingly, that's drawing a lot of people to move here. Among those happy with Venice, Jan and Bob Jaggard.
I don't have any feelings of being unsafe at all.
We have people that come here from all over the world for tourism. We have people that come here from all over the world to choose Venice as their home.
The Jaggards certainly did. They moved here part-time 17 years ago. The last 5 have been full-time.
We've been very satisfied with it for as many years, and that's why we can continue to come down here.
What's the best thing about Venice, do you think?
Oh, the friendliness of the people.
The website Value Penguin looked at crime statistics per capita for all of Florida. Venice comes in at number 10 as the safest mid-sized city. By comparison, Northport came at number 2 for large cities, and Longboat Key took the top spot for small.
We definitely do have our crime, and we do a great job of investigating it and hopefully prosecuting it so it stays out of our community.
More online bragging rights. According to TripAdvisor, Venice also came in at number 2 for the most affordable beach destinations to vacation, with an average of $735 spent a week.
Venice is paradise. It is absolutely an extraordinary community to live in and work in.
And it has been a very successful tourist season so far, according to the Venice Chamber of Commerce. More and more people are discovering Venice. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Christopher. A nice place.
It's a really nice place, yeah. All right, we'll be right back with your forecast. Stay with us.
This Sarasota Powerboat Grand Prix Minute is brought to you by Florida Leather Gallery.
Money raised during the Sarasota Powerboat Grand Prix Festival allows Suncoast Charities for Children to provide annual grants to the Suncoast Foundation. Since the festival began, more than $20 million in facilities have been built by the Suncoast Foundation across the area, benefiting Community Haven, Children First, Sarasota County Special Olympics, and the Florida Center for Early Childhood.
Florida Leather Gallery is celebrating the 4th of July with spectacular savings. Take 33% off hundreds of styles. Experience freedom of choice with a wide and wonderful assortment of leathers. Freedom from worry with our impressive collection of protected leathers. And freedom from guilt as we proudly offer the lowest price guaranteed. Plus, free delivery. It's all happening right now. Come celebrate with our Lexperts at our 6 Florida Leather Galleries.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford because Sarasota Ford guarantees you our lowest price on every new Ford every day. Save on America's best-selling truck, 39 years running, the Ford F-150, Fusions, Escapes, over 800 vehicles on site or online, all on sale. Buy with 0% for 60 months. And now, get up to $2,000 trade assistance. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Did you know many dogs are returned to shelters simply because they lack obedience? Contact Canine Corral about various training programs. We train dogs and their owners. Canine Corral, where the love is.
Today, everyone is looking for carpeting that lasts longer. G. Fried has you covered with Karastan. With a legacy of quality and integrity, we provide you with a huge selection of Karastan carpets with exclusive lifetime limited warranties. All installed by our highly skilled, highly knowledgeable team. Come ask us why Karastan is the best and most durable. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Getting older shouldn't mean giving up all the things she loves to do. It should just mean, well, finding new ways to do them. Right at Home's professional team thoughtfully selects caregivers to provide help with personal care, housekeeping, and of course, meal preparation.
Oh, that smells so good. Oh, and it tastes good too.
We can provide the right care right at home.
Top of our newscast, we told you about some severe weather in the area, big storms, huh?
Yeah, big storms. The good news is the severe thunderstorm warning has been allowed to expire, so we're not looking at that, but still the potential for some rough weather in South Sarasota and western portions of Charlotte County tonight. There's a significant weather advisory now out for that same area that was under the severe thunderstorm warning. The storm itself, although has dropped below severe limits, there's still a chance we could see some big winds and some heavy rain. We're already seeing that, frequent lightning strikes and even some hail with the cells they move on through. As far as the watches go, as I mentioned, the warning is no longer with us as far as that severe thunderstorm warning, but this particular cell way up there and reaching into the atmosphere some 50,000 feet, and that can lead to hail, and some of it has been rather big. Here's a 3D slice of the storm, and you can see the height of the storm up near 50 to 60,000 feet right now, and that's all going to be coming down, and that creates some strong gusty winds as the storm starts to die out as it approaches the coast. So very windy weather anticipated out ahead of that in Rotunda, Inglewood, Northport. You're getting drenched right now with some heavy rainfall and some frequent lightning strikes all throughout this region, and you can see that right there near Punta Gorda. This is the actual hail track of what's happened over the last hour or so, and it appears to be a Doppler indicated hail right there near Punta Gorda and into Port Charlotte, right along the Peace River near US 41, and I queried that, and it actually a golf ball size hail indicated by our Doppler radar system. Heavy rain near Northport, Sumter, and I-75, some rainfall near Toledo Blade Boulevard, and then showers also starting to pop up and fire up on the southeast and east sea breeze. Now, East Coast sea breeze is making its way over. We'll see these showers kind of intensify. We'll have to keep an eye out for the severity. The temperature is just so warm today, very muggy conditions around, which will allow these storms to continue to fire up as we move through time this evening. That dry air is slowly thinning out, all of it kind of pushing off to the west, but still there's enough around to kind of limit the storms over a widespread area, but the storms that have been firing up have been pretty strong, as we just noted. The heat index at the airport feels like about 100 degrees, 90 our current temperature, and the dew point way up there at 74, the humidity at 59%, 91 the high today, our normal high at 89, and 78 the morning low, well above average. And no rainfall to report thus far, but there could be some showers moving toward the airport later. 96 in Jacksonville, it's 95 in Tallahassee, 86, a bit cooler in Miami now, and temperatures inland still in the low 90s, and places like Wauchula, Avon Park, all the way down to Lake Placid in the low 90s there. Sarasota at 90, Northport, although it is cooled now to 82 degrees, so we have to take some of the good with these storms and the fact that they cool us off in the late afternoon and evening. For tonight, those showers will continue to slowly break down that west coast sea breeze, so showers could still be lingering across portions of the coast until around 9, 10 o'clock tonight. And then with the sea breeze developing in the afternoon, there's a chance for a few isolated showers near the coast, say around 1, 2 o'clock. And then most of it will be inland, say 4, 5, and 6, and then they'll break down again and head off toward the west coast in the late evening. On Sunday, a little bit better chance to see some showers and storms, especially inland areas, and some of those storms could be some heavy rainmakers. Well, in the tropics, we were watching this little piece of energy make its way to the west. There's not enough chance for it to develop into another tropical system, but nonetheless, we'll keep an eye on it. The Caribbean now looking pretty good, pretty much void of any kind of significant storm moving through there. Elsewhere across the U.S., things quieting down now after a pretty hectic week from the Plain States all the way to the Midwest. Not as much going on there. Temperatures, though, still hot. Phoenix 109, cooler reading now in Boston at 70 degrees and 77 now into Cleveland. Southeast winds for boaters Seas running less than 2 feet. Those winds will switch around to the southwest later in the afternoon. Pretty nice boating for Sunday, too. Water temperature at 88 degrees, but be careful those storms in the afternoon. There is a special marine warning right now in effect for coastal waters near Inglewood. Low tide upcoming at 11:30 and sunset at 8:29. Scattered showers and thunderstorms through the evening. Not everyone will get the rain, but we'll see some storms around 75 for your low. Tomorrow, heat index 103 and partly cloudy afternoon showers and storms. The extended forecast, pretty typical for summer. Afternoon and evening storms right on in through Friday, with the best chances happening Sunday through Tuesday. Back to you.
Bob, thank you. Coming up next, a chance to see them up close and personal before they're stars.
Details on some baseball games taking place in Sarasota. That's straight ahead.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
The ability to go to college on a Bright Future Scholarship gave me personally the flexibility to chase a dream. To not have to worry about paying for your college education was absolutely amazing. One step better than that was to leave with no loans. I mean, to start a life, to start a job, to start without having a debt was amazing, and it allowed me to get to where I'm at today.
I'm Dale Mast, and we're celebrating 40 years on the west coast of Florida.
It's our 40th anniversary, and it's time for a celebration, the Culligan Hydration Celebration. For a limited time, celebrate by taking $250 off any Culligan home system. That's $250 off Culligan water softener systems, drinking water systems, or whole house water filters. Help us celebrate our 40th anniversary, and remember,
for better water, pure and simple, call today and say, "Hey, Culligan man."
We've been slow smoking over oak for more than 45 years. And while sticking to tried and true traditions is kind of our thing, it doesn't hurt to throw something new in the smoker every now and then. Come get some slow smoked chicken wings at Sonny's Barbecue. Order them as an appetizer or as part of a combo with pork, baby back ribs, or both, starting at $10.99. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
Rose takes her volunteering for Tidewell Hospice very seriously. But she knows how to have fun, too. And that's what she brings when we're invited to visit patients as part of Tidewell's pet therapy program. People love to see her. She really brightens their day. She makes people smile. And in end-of-life care, a smile can be a wonderful gift. Tidewell Hospice. It's more than you think.
Since 1928, Karastan has been setting the standard in carpets and rugs, producing non-allergenic wools that won't promote the growth of bacteria or dust mites like other carpets will. Karastan wools actively remove contaminants from the indoor air, making your home healthier. And there are many colors and patterns and textures to choose from. Come see for yourself.
So many possibilities worth exploring. Minnesota flooring.
Some of the future stars of Major League Baseball starting their careers today on the Sun Coast.
The Gulf Coast League Orioles taking on the Rays at Ed Smith Stadium Complex this afternoon. The league has 17 teams and gives recently drafted and signed players their first taste of pro baseball. The Orioles will play 30 home games this summer, which are free to fans, so don't miss out on that. Free baseball.
Pirates have a GCLT too, and the Rays as well. So,
good deal.
Yeah.
Fun.
World News Tonight is next.
Have a great evening.
This is an ABC7 editorial with Steve Sabato.
Last Monday, the nation still reeling from the shooting in Orlando, 4 gun control bills came before the United States Senate. 2 were sponsored by Republicans, 2 by Democrats, and all 4 failed to pass. That's the bad news. The good news, Florida Senator Bill Nelson, a Democrat, has worked out a compromise bill with a Republican co-sponsor, and Florida Senator Marco Rubio, a Republican, has decided to run for re-election. What, you might ask, do these things have in common? The opportunity to lead for two senators from the same state with the tragic distinction of being the site of the worst mass shooting in American history. The bill that Mr. Nelson has co-sponsored includes two parts. First, no fly, no buy, meaning if you are currently on the no-fly or the terrorist watch list, meaning you are actively being investigated, you can't just walk into a gun store or go online and buy a gun. You still technically have the right to buy a gun, but because you are considered a threat, you will first have to convince a judge you're not a bad guy. I know it's not perfect, and the presumption of innocence is compromised, but it is fair and reasonable, and it will save lives. Secondly, if you have been on the list in the previous 5 years, but were removed from the list, as was the case with the gunman in Orlando, you can actually still buy a gun because you are still presumed innocent. However, the FBI will be notified. Just to be clear, ask yourself this question. Do you want the FBI to know if a guy suspected of being a terrorist walks into a gun store, buys an AR-15 and 500 rounds of ammo? Wake up, America. This is not an attack on the Second Amendment. This is common sense. I urge you to contact Senators Nelson and Rubio, implore them to join forces, work together, lead a delegation to get this bill or something like it passed, so those we lost in Orlando will not have died in vain. I'm Steve Sabato, and we'd like to hear from you.
The opinions expressed in this editorial do not necessarily reflect those of ABC7's owners or management. If you would like to comment, go to our website, www.mysuncoast.com, and click.
When you don't know who you are, you can be anyone you want to be. You're coming with me.
Ooh, where are we going?
To the most wondrous place in the world.
Roll up, Tangleville's traveling circus is here!
This isn't a fairy story. People don't always live happily ever after, but we will. I'm Hetty Feather, and this is my story.
They care. They take the time to understand you, take the time to understand your case.
There's no better satisfaction to me than to see a client who is happy because of the job we've done for them.
It's really actually very comforting to know that there's someone that you've heard of and you're getting recommendations about that you can turn to when you have a problem.
I felt like I had a partner in this, and he was going to be by my side.
This Sarasota Powerboat Grand Prix Minute is brought to you by Sarasota Ford.
The Sarasota Powerboat Grand Prix offers 2 full days of racing just off Lido. Aquacross racing returns with more than 80 personal watercraft teams, along with 10 superstock boats, averaging 70 miles an hour. Then more than 30 powerboats take to the water, many topping speeds of 100. And don't miss the Boats on Main block party and meet and greet Who's in the Driver's Seat, events so you can meet the racers up close and personal.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, because Sarasota Ford guarantees you our lowest price on every new Ford every day. Save on America's best-selling truck, 39 years running, the Ford F-150. Fusions, Escapes, over 800 vehicles on-site or online, all on sale. Buy with 0% for 60 months. And now, get up to 2,000 trade assistance. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
This Sarasota Powerboat Grand Prix Minute is brought to you by Florida Leather Gallery.
Your support during the Grand Prix Festival makes a big difference. Loveland Center in Venice is one of 5 area nonprofit agencies receiving support from Suncoast Charities for Children and the Suncoast Foundation. Thanks to a recent grant from Suncoast Charities for Children, a multi-sensory room was renovated for clients with autism and other severe disabilities, and allowing program money to go directly to clients.
Florida Florida Leather Gallery is celebrating the 4th of July with spectacular savings. Take 33% off hundreds of styles. Experience freedom of choice with a wide and wonderful assortment of leathers. Freedom from worry with our impressive collection of protected leathers. And freedom from guilt as we proudly offer the lowest price guaranteed. Plus, free delivery. It's all happening right now. Come celebrate with our Lexperts at our 6 Florida Leather Galleries.